Hello everybody, this is Dr. Samuel Zinner. Welcome here to my desk in the mountain village of Aulla in Tuscany, Italy. Today I want to talk about the 112th sura of the Qur'an as a dialogue with Jewish and Christian sources. So let's jump right into it to explain what I'm talking about. Angelika Neuwirth, she's pointed out that in a rhyme position, right, the adjective wahid would be required, not the noun echad. But it is the noun echad that we have in Surah, the class, right, the 112th Surah. Kuhulahu echad. Say, he, God is one. Right? And so, according to Neuwirth, and we have every reason to believe her. In fact, no reasons not to believe her, right? That this is an echo of the Shema Yisrael, right? The daily profession of monotheistic faith in Judaism, which opens right, in Deuteronomy 6:4. It is Shema Yisrael, hear, O Israel, Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. The Lord, our God, the Lord, is one. Right? Now, to carry this a little further, in the 2022 Routledge Companion to the Qur'an, Sidney Griffith, in his chapter called Late Antiquity and the Religious Milieu of the Qur'an's Origins, he graciously refers to my essay, right, on Surah 112, in which I mention the Tunisian philosopher Yusuf Sadiq's claim that Surah 112 right, is engaging with Parmenides' Fragment 8. As a matter of fact, in my essay, right, where I go through Sadiq's argumentation, right, in very deep detail, in the end, I actually conclude that I see no direct relation between Surah 112 and Parmenides' Fragment 8. On the other hand, right, the thought is congruent that existence or being as such, God is one, is congruent with Surah 112. However, to see a literary or some kind of direct relation, we have to go actually to Eunomius, right, who eventually was considered heretical, right, in the mainstream churches. But we read in his Liber Apologeticus, Book 11, the God of all things is one, and he is unbegotten, and he is incomparable. Now, those are almost all the main themes of Surah 112 in the same sequence and in the same language. Again, the God of all things is one, and he is unbegotten, and he is incomparable. Right? Lem yelid, walam yulid, walam yakulu kufuwan ahad. Right? So, God is not begotten, God does not beget, and no one, right, is equal with God, or comparable with God. So in Eunomius Liber Apologeticus 11, the only point that's missing in that formula, the God of all things is one, and he is unbegotten and incomparable, the only part missing there that we see in Surah 112 is the denial that God begets. However, that is a direct topic in the Liber Apologeticus immediately before and after this formula, right, at chapter 11, right? For instance, chapter 9, basically on the same page, right? So, but if he said, Eunomius writes, but if God is unbegotten, he could never undergo a generation which involved the sharing of his own distinctive nature with the offspring of that generation, and could never admit of any comparison or association, right? That'd be the equivalent of the Quranic shirk, with the offspring or with the thing begotten. All right, so the closest parallel we have to Surah 112, right? There is a certain similarity, of course, to, let's say, has been pointed out by many people, the Nicene Creed, right? However, point for point, right, the closest, and up till now, I think generally overlooked parallel, right, is Eunomius Liber apologeticus 11. The God of all things is one, he's unbegotten, and has no comparison, has no equal. All right. Another point we should make in Surah 112 is Allahu Ahad, say God, he is one. Allahu Samad, God, a Samad, right? So this is very mysterious word, Samad, right? But I believe that the best understanding of this is that it means that God is solid. God is not hollow. God is solid. And so what's that mean? I believe that's an echo of a Hebrew biblical trope. God is under the metaphor of the rock. God is the rock. He's solid. And I think where the idea there is that God's nature is achad. God's nature is one. However, God's attributes are many, and yet they are united, right? Compact, like a rock. And so this is actually, you could illustrate this with the Shema Yisrael. Hear, O Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Right? So there's a plurality of divine names. The Tetragrammaton, Yod He Vav He, or Adonai, the Lord, is repeated twice, right? And it's identified as Eloheinu, our God. Right? So there's a plurality of divine names, and yet God is one. Right? The Tetragrammaton is one. So we can say God is one and God is united. God is one in essence. God is united in the names, the attributes. All right. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it sheds some light on the relationship between Eunomius, his Christology, and what we're seeing in Surah 112. And this, I think I would encourage scholars to really investigate the pertinence of Eunomius' Christology to Surah 112, which is a divine engagement, right, with the Jewish monotheistic profession of faith and the Shema Yisrael, and I believe with other sources, but especially with Eunomius and the Liber apologeticus. Take a look again at chapter 11, the God of all things is one. He is unbegotten and incomparable, and this is sandwiched in between this argumentation, right, that God could never beget and share his nature with that which is begotten. All right, so thank you.